Hey, I'm Matt Hutchins, and he's Dave Mulvaney, and this is Profitability MD. Dave, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, Matt. And how about you?
Life is good. It's always good. Episode 141, More Money Now. More Money Now. We both had some good conversations with some good prospects here in the last couple of days, and we were talking offline. Everybody wants more money now, right? And so the conversation starts almost the same. And mine was like a dentist and a financial advisor. And you think, what do they have in common? Both of them had the same thing. If I could just get in front of more people, if I could just get in front of more prospects, I know that I could generate more business. I know I could close more business, right?
Yeah, and the person I was talking to is in the loan industry. And my first question was they wanted me to look at, like, how can I get more money now? What they're really saying is, how can I get more customers? That's what they normally say. How can I get more customers now? What they're really saying is I need more money now. How can I do that now? So that's why this is more money now. Well, the first thing I asked was, what's your marketing plan? And they said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not talking about a written marketing plan. What's your marketing plan? What's your strategy? And they're like, we don't really have one. And I said, okay, so let's start with this. Just think of this, traffic, okay? Traffics and conversions. Let's start there. If you want more money now, you got to start with traffic and conversions. How do you get traffic?
Or leads. We like saying more leads.
So you get traffic from, traffic brings leads, and then leads turns into conversions, and then conversions turns into sales or potential for sales. But it really starts with some form of advertising, reaching out. So that's what I mean. A marketing plan doesn't have to be complex. It could be, we're going to run advertising on XYZ platform. We're going to run ads. It's going to create traffic. Well, if you're a dentist, you could send mailers. That creates traffic to your phone. Doesn't matter what it is. You got to start with a plan that creates traffic. Traffic meaning the phone rings, traffic meaning the email, but you got to have people coming to you. In my opinion, if traffic, like you are a big pharmaceutical company, traffic means you're going to have 150 salespeople out knocking on hospitals' doors every single day. That's traffic. So it's all traffic.
Drum it up. I'm going to back it up and go I'll even go back to the basics. So we talk about our 5-step profit formula: more leads, more conversions, transactions, more profits. And I'll go back to the first thing is easy money. We talk about cutting costs and that kind of stuff, right? But number 2 is increase the number of transactions for existing clients. When I was in Strategic Coach, you and I were in Strategic Coach, and I don't remember if it was which year it was, but one of the first questions would be, if you could wake up and only do one thing tomorrow, what would that one thing be to make money? And the answer invariably for most businesses is keep your existing clients happy. Number 1, keep your existing clients happy, right? Number 2, if I could do 2 things tomorrow, it would be keep the clients happy and get in front of new prospects, right? New potential clients. And the third thing, if I could only do 3 things tomorrow, would be get in front of an existing client, keep them happy, get in front of a prospect who can bring me money, or a center of influence or a referral who can, somebody that can refer me business, right? Those are what we call our unique things. But this was with a financial advisor, if I could just get in front of more clients. And this was with a dentist, if I could just get in front of more potential patients. They like to call them patients. But what I talk about is increase the number of transactions from existing clients. That's the number 1 way to get more money now. In the financial services business, it's more wallet share, right? So if you manage money, maybe you don't manage all their money, right? All your clients' money. So you need to go figure out, they might have some money in a CD or in a different brokerage account or an old 401k from an old business, right? So invariably, the easiest place for a financial advisor is to get more money from his existing clients. The easiest thing for a dentist, it's the same thing in a different twist, which is number of transactions from existing patients, which is what they call active patients versus inactive patients. Somebody who hadn't been to see the dentist in the last 12 months, 18 months, probably doesn't have a new dentist. They just haven't been in to see you. So the quickest way for more money now is for you to call all those inactive patients. They've been with me. They probably haven't seen me in 12 months. They probably slipped through the cracks. I didn't call them. They didn't call me. Let's get them in the door.
And then let's pause on that calling there. So somebody might say, well, I don't have time to call. Well, good. hire a virtual assistant and have them call. You just create a script. Don't get hung up on stuff like that. Like you often say, who, not how. That's it. I mean, hire somebody, a virtual assistant. They have them as, in the United States, you don't have to hire somebody in the Philippines. You can hire somebody for $25 to $30 an hour, and then call all of your existing, patients who aren't, and reactivate them. Right. We call it a reactivation campaign.
Reactivation campaign. That's right.
But back to what you were saying about like these more transactions, what most people do is when they go get new clients, they keep acquiring new clients and they try to tell them everything they do. Wouldn't it be better to attract a new client, then once they are a client, then offer them more services?
Actually, right. You give them the first thing they need, right? The first thing they want, right? And then you could say, well, you're going to need this later on. And add, exactly. That's a great point. Add those transactions. A great thing, going back to the financial advisors, maybe you solved a problem. They inherited money. But now you can go in and talk about some tax planning or some insurance planning or some retirement planning. But when you first got them in the door, they were just, hey, I got a bunch of money. I don't know what to do with. My dad died. Help me settle his estate, right? That's a great point. Maybe you just get in and solve. You've always said solve the one problem, and then we can show you, I bet you got these other problems too that I could help you solve.
Yeah, now you got life insurance possibilities. You have deferred benefits plans. You've got
tax planning is a big deal right now. Tax planning is huge.
Yeah, and the thing about tax planning is it always changes because the tax codes always change. So, that's it. Like if you're in the investment advisory business, you got to stay up on that stuff. Right?
Always changes, and it's your biggest expense. If I walk in it's hilarious. I do this at all my presentations. What's your biggest expense? And people will say labor and or materials, right? And the answer is no, it isn't. It's taxes. Yeah. It's always taxes, and it'll always be taxes. So your number one concern would be, how do I minimize my taxes? How do I pay the least amount of taxes possible? That's being a business owner. That's being an individual. And that's some of the stuff. I mean, I'm really good at that. It's really awesome.
Well, really we could say it this way. If taxes isn't your biggest expense, it's because you're losing money. You need to get more transactions and more money now. So if taxes isn't your biggest expense, then this is another way to fix that. And so these are, it doesn't really matter what business you're in. Whether you're a dentist, a financial planner, whether you're in insurance sales, insurance sales. I remember when people would open up just do car insurance, and then like 20 years later, they got this big agency. They're doing business and homeowners and all these different insurances and life and disability and all these other things. Why? Well, you thought they were just a car insurance place, but the reality is there's always more transactions you can get from the existing customer base. And if you'll focus on that, I mean, why did I get in dog food? Because dogs eat every month. I like that. But when you got a customer base of 100,000, well, guess what? We now have dog bowls. We now have this, or we have that, or dog bones. Exactly right. It's the ability to add a new product and get an instant raise. And I learned this many years ago when I was in network marketing, and they were like, you get into a company, might have one product, and then there's like, you get $1 million downline or whatever, and then all of a sudden they add a new product. Why did they add the new product? More transactions.
More transactions. They already have a distribution channel set up. It's just like, so you talk about a builder. I work with, a couple builders, and the same thing. A builder can you make the house bigger? Can you, add more luxury items? Because a lot of these builders are cost plus. A lot of times they're not. A lot of times it's a negotiated price. But same thing for like the landscape guy. Hey, we just do the lawn, but now I can do gardens, right? That's when we talk about joint ventures, right? You and I talked about on one of our podcasts was go to your existing client base and think, what other services can I offer? Whether I sell them or somebody else sells them, what else can I offer to them? Which puts into one of our favorite stuff you and I talk about all the time is joint ventures, right? I don't have to actually provide the product or service, but I have the relationship that I can introduce I'm a distributor. You're my client. I mow your lawn every month, every week. And I know Dave, right? So what else can I offer Dave that he might need? And we talk about this all the time. That's the joint ventures, the pressure washing the house, the auto detailing, the cleaning out the gutters, the roofer, the painter, the fixing the back deck, right? That's what we talk about with joint ventures are really just another form of more transactions with existing clients whether you provide the service or not. So that's a great exercise. We mentioned that in a podcast in the past that I tell people to do every year.
I wasn't being rude and looking at my phone. I'm actually looking at my phone to get the name of this author of this. His name is Hunter Thompson. And one of the things he said when you talk about joint ventures, his name, I wanted to make sure I gave him credit for this. He said, you know, I would go to networking groups. And what I tried to do at all my networking groups was I try to, like if I met somebody, I try to find out what they were looking for right now. And if I knew the person, I would connect them right then. So I would give them value. And why did I do that? Because I know the reciprocity rule. And,
yes.
And so if you want referrals, you got to give referrals. I believe it's, and I know you do it phenomenally, Matt. I know I know a guy, you're that guy. I know a guy.
Right.
But I thought it was great advice. And it's, you know, I was like, wow, that's really good advice. So you're at a networking group, and instead of trying to get from somebody else, you're always the guy who's giving. And what ends up happening is, as people say, hey, oh, you know, Matt helped me with this. Why don't you go ask Matt? He might know a person. And then before long, you've got this huge network of people that refer back to you because you're a giver in that fashion.
I had this exact conversation this morning and the opposite view of what not to do, which was you're trying to give referrals to this guy, and I send him a text. Hey, this would be a great business partner with you. These are big time connections. And it's happened 3 times. I text the guy, hey, I got a great connection for you. I think it'd be really add value. This guy does this, which complements your business or brings money to your business or bring opportunities to your business. And you don't silent. Don't hear from him for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And this has happened 3 times in a row. It's happened like in April and May, and then it just happened like this week, and he responded this morning. And my response back was, I can't give you any referrals, because if you don't respond promptly to me, how would I know that you're going to respond promptly to the referral that I'm going to give to you? And then you would make me look bad.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You got to say, hey, Dave, I got a guy for you. He's a big money guy. He's going to add to that real estate project. You need to talk to him. And then you need to have the respect to say, oh, awesome. Thanks, Matt. And then you reach out with him and then you connect. And the third thing, which most people forget, by the way, is then you got to tell me, hey, Matt, I talked to your guy. He's awesome. We'll see if it works out, but I just want to let you know, I'm keeping you in the loop, right, that we connected. That's how you handle a referral, right? Here I am trying to give this guy a big time referral, and I get crickets, right? Now I got to cut him off. He's just not a reliable, I can't help him. I'm trying to help him grow his business with some big time introductions. And that tells me either he's not running his business properly, he doesn't treat people properly. There's something wrong that I can't give him referrals anymore. And that's what I told him.
That's a valid point. That if you're the type of person who is always, it's like a pet peeve of mine when somebody says, "I'm sorry, I'm late. I was really busy." We're all really busy. You should never be. You should never be late. I mean, there are.
That's what I told him in the text. That's literally what I said. Dude, these people are big time people. I'm a big time person. You're a big time person. We're all busy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't send you a text, introduce you to somebody unless it was important, because I know you're, and by God, these guys are busy.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I told him. But it reminds me of you, what you were just saying, reminds me of the idea of the number one complaint for lawyers and CPAs is they don't know what happened to a referral. So CPAs get referrals from 80% of their business comes from existing clients giving them a referral, right? They are terrible. They never tell that client, hey, thanks for sending me. They're terrible at that. They give a referral to other people, financial services, insurance, financial advisors, other people. They never hear back. Like, I don't know whatever happened. I called you, talk about insurance, nothing ever. Lawyers get referrals from other lawyers, right? So you're a personal injury lawyer who deals in car wrecks, but somebody has a dog bite. So you're going to refer that dog bite to a dog bite personal injury. This really happens, by the way. And then they never hear back from the dog bite guy. Hey, what was that a case? Did that work out? Did it not work out? Right? So part of the referral process has to be the follow-up.
You've got to, there's got to be that, thank you for sending me that. And I know everybody's busy, right? So Once again, this is where you get a virtual assistant. And if it's just for thank you cards, it's all you need. I mean, what is that going to take it an hour? Like if let's say you're paying $25 an hour and the virtual assistant takes, and you need 5 thank yous to go out this week. So it costs you $25 to send 5 thank yous. How hard is that? I mean, it's like, it'll change your world, even though you didn't write it. You still it came from you.
Oh, dude, this goes back to our whole who, not how, and automating, right? So we had this conversation with one of my clients, and it's so difficult when I get a referral. I have to do all these things, and I said, no, you really don't. The only thing you have to do is meet with the prospect, right? You could have a thank you email set up. Hey, Dave, thanks for sending the referral. You could have an email set up that says, hey, I reached out to your referral. We're going to set up a meeting for next week. That could be an automated email that your virtual assistant can fill in some of the details. Automatic email to go set up the appointment. There's a virtual assistant that can set up your appointment, or your existing assistant sets up. That's not you again. And then you would let your hey, I got a meeting set up with them next week. That's an automatic email. Then you'd have the meeting, which is what you need to do. That's your unique ability. That's what you're good at. The follow-up. Hey, thanks for meeting with me. That's an automatic email you have already pre-written, and you just fill in a couple details, or your assistant does. The thank you, hey, Dave, thanks. Remember the guy you sent to me? I met with him this week. The meeting went well.
All right, now, can we pause for a minute? Because you just said a mouthful that a lot of people, I need to go deeper in what you just said. Okay, so first of all, the topic today is more money now. And you notice how we started talking about being more efficient now, which will make you more money, by the way. But one of the things, one of the big nuggets you just gave was, you said an email that's already set up. You just have to. How much time do we spend writing emails? So what you do is you take one time and you literally template your emails if they're similar emails. And you label them based upon, and you title them, and then you go in and you cut and paste and you put in the things you need. That, my friend, will make you far more effective and allow you to make more money now, because you won't be spending so much time doing emails. And so that's a big nugget you gave, and I didn't want to just skim right through it, because that's
a great point. Well, that's what I call a follow-up system, right? So it's all about, how many times have we talked about a follow-up system, that most small business owners don't have a follow-up system, whether it be for leads, whether it be for suppliers. Hey, I asked for a quote, haven't heard back, right? That a follow-up system for all that stuff. Let's say you're a builder, follow up. Hey, I was looking for the subcontractor I'm looking for a new subcontractor to do flooring. Haven't heard back from them. Well,
I got a flooring guy, a cabinet guy, and a roofing guy. Right now, I'm waiting on their follow-up to get me the price. They've all been out to look at the house. 3 that have not got me the price yet.
Have not gotten back. And I'll put it back on you. And there should be, I've heard from him in 3 days. Send another email to him. Hey, I'm waiting on that bid.
I text.
I know, you're good at that.
I text every morning. I need that quote. I need that quote. And
you're doing your end. They've dropped the ball. That's exactly right. They dropped the ball. They have a terrible follow-up system. Here you are wanting to hire them, wanting to give them money. That's the kind of stuff that we mean more money now. There's stuff like that probably in your business that you're just sitting on. There's more wallet share there can get. There's more services you could offer. There's business sitting there that you just haven't followed up on, right? There's stuff in your pipeline that you just haven't even followed up on.
And if you're too busy to do the things you have to do, then you need to raise your prices, which is another way to get more money now. Raise your prices so that during the time you are working, you're making enough money that you can pay people to do some of these things, which is follow-up. I mean, the reality is this is about more money now, but it's not just more transactions. If you're so busy and you can't afford people to help you, that means you're not charging enough for what you do. It's a simple formula.
That's right. Raise your price until you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then double it.
More money now. Raise your prices and then double it, according to Dave.
That's not Dave. That's a Ray Edwards thing.
Okay.
And I'm going to use this as an example. I was really busy one time. Didn't want to take on a new copywriting project because I don't take many projects for copywriting. So I was going to quote this guy a price. And I said, all right, I'm going to listen to what Ray, and it was a high price. I'm going to listen to what Ray said, and I'm going to double it. And And he took it the second he got the, and I was like, dang, I could have probably tripled it. And so
that makes a project more worthwhile, and you actually now are excited of taking on a new project because you're getting more profitability per hour, like we talked about. So it's, yeah, now you're actually excited about it. You didn't, if you're charging too little, you're like, oh, I don't want to do that work. It's not worth it. It's pain in the butt. It's giving me a headache. But now if it's paying you twice as much you thought, you're like, well, that's not such a headache. Well worth it.
But to stay on the subject of what I was talking about is by taking on another client. I have a client right now. I just made one of the, or a prospect that I made one of the biggest quotes I've ever made for copywriting. Why? Because I know if I take this client on, there's no way I can do all the work myself. So I will have to hire somebody to do some of the writing, and I'll oversee it. So the reality is knowing how much time it would take. So I threw out the biggest price that I've ever thrown out. And if it happens, great. If it doesn't, then I'm not so burdened trying to get the thing done. It takes all my time. And you got to think like that as an entrepreneur. You got to look at things and say, boy, this is a really big project. I'd love to have it. But if I get it, I got to make it worth my while too.
That goes back to our profitability per hour. We did that call, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes ago, right? That it says it's not just revenue. Not all revenue is the same. It's really profitability. And I'll even tell you profitability per hour, right? That if it's, can I do this project in the most efficient manner that's easy and takes the least amount of time? That's what we talk about going back to a dentistry, right? So dentistry might be that something easy is to replace a cavity or a crown, right? Versus a whole implant, you know, like a whole bridge and that type of stuff. But the bridges are 10 times more profitable. Can I do more of those projects? Dentists don't like to think like that because it's a healthcare. Financial services, same thing. Like a $1 to $5 million customer is a perfect bread and butter. A $50 million client sounds really awesome, but now they require a lot of your time and attention, and they feel like they own you.
Well, can we go back?
So you might want
back to the dentist. And if you're a dentist and you're watching this show, and I know there's a possibility of that because you deal with a lot of dentists. If you're a dentist and you think that, okay, so let's say you take an hour and you did a couple fillings. Okay, it took you an hour to do, let's say, 2 fillings.
Right.
So you get paid your hourly wage. Let's say it's $150 an hour. So you made your $150 and you're done. Now, what if you took that same hour and now you sold something that went in the mouth, and the margin on that item you sold was another $150. So now in the same hour, you made $300. One was for your labor. The other was because you sold something at a fair price. And so that should be the way you think, is you can't be just hands, because eventually these break down. You want to make sure that you're selling items that increase your profitability.
Right. Well, we talk about more money now and more transactions, right? Dentists can offer orthodontics, right? So Invisalign, a lot of them are offering those products now as an add-on. Teeth whitening as an add-on. Same, exactly what you're talking about. That's more transaction from existing clients. The way you can focus on your marketing can be, I don't just want cavity fillings. I want to market towards high-end dental work, right? And we talked about this before. Don't call me if you want the cheapest. Call me if you want the best, right? I used to work with a kitchen remodeler. Don't call me if you want the cheapest. Call me if you want the best kitchen. Don't call me if you want the cheapest. Call me if you want the most unique. So actually last week when I was talking with these dentists, I had a group that I was working with, and that's the kind of marketing message they want to deliver, right? That's a consistent, and it's self-selecting. Well, he just told me don't call him if you want the cheapest. Call me if you want the best.
What we're talking about right now, and this is the first time it's ever happened in the car industry. The car industry has always been enormously, we're only going to sell the lowest price, lowest price, lowest price. There's no cars out there right now. I don't know if you've driven by any car lots recently. You look on their lot and they got no cars. There's big problems. We're not going to go into the problems. But this is not a time to get a car totaled, because I can tell you my daughter totaled her car. We went to a lot. She picked out the car. They would not budge a penny off the car. All the fees, everything. And we went out and we looked at a lot of places. They were all the same. Look, cars are scarce. I can charge whatever I want for this car. And they did. I mean, it was amazing how much they charged for the car. However, the insurance company was also on the ropes because they had to pay to replace my daughter's car.
Right, right.
But the point is, I think car dealers are realizing, hey, you know, what's the added value that we can give to offer these higher prices, even today in this economy? Can you can you offer, like, we'll give you free oil changes for a year, tire rotation, add some value that doesn't cost much, and don't go back to the low price model.
Right.
That's exactly if you're saying, I'm in the car business, I need more money now, start thinking of adding value or other services that you can offer to justify a higher profit margin. And it doesn't matter what business you're in.
Right. We talk about price versus value, right? And we did a whole episode on value added as a way to increase your profitability. And it's the perceived value that you add. People only shop on price because that's all you give them, right? They don't know any better. They don't know any education. Then all they know is price, right? But if you say that this is a good kitchen cabinet, this is a bad kitchen cabinet, now you're talking about value, and I might be willing to spend more. Same thing for dental work. This is good dental work. This is excellent dental work. I'm willing to pay for excellent because I don't want to come back here and do this whole thing again in 3 to 5 years. I want this. Talk about surgeries, right? So I have clients that, you know, redo shoulders and hips. And invariably, the guys and gals that do not only the rehab anymore, it's the prehab before the operation. I have a client who has a knee surgery and said, look, this knee, he did the pre-work and the recovery work. And he said, it's like, I wish I would have done this years ago because this knee is better than my original one ever was, right? So there's this whole thing of the value added. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked, but it's the value added that you add or that guy's going to have that surgeon who told him to do the pre-work and the post-work is going to have a higher success rate because he got his clients to do the pre and post.
But that's how you got more money now. Okay. Yep. The pre-work creates a higher profit on the actual work because the result, when somebody buys they want the result. They don't want the thing you do. I mean, that's the old adage, you know, nobody wants a drill, they want a hole.
Right.
It's the same thing. They want the result. They don't want the thing that you do. And so if the result is my knee is better than ever, that's phenomenal. Now, knees are easier than shoulders, as you know.
Right.
Shoulders are tough, and maybe there's pre-work. But, I mean, this is the point is, how do you get more money now? You don't get stuck in like you said, if all you give people is price, that's all they got to go on.
That's all they get going. All right, so we can wrap this up. Episode 141, more money now, right? We got to get in front of more people. Maybe you don't. Maybe you go back and do more transactions with your existing clients. You know, I told you that the strategic coach, Dan Sullivan, was, what do you do tomorrow to make more money? Keep your existing clients happy, right? Number 2, get in front of more prospects. Number 3, meet with centers of influence, right? How do I get more transactions? It can be more wallet share. It could be reactivation campaigns. It could be joint ventures offering products or services that our distribution, our existing clients would appreciate, whether we produce them or we teamed up with somebody. That's great. You and I use joint ventures all the time. These are the kind of discussions, more money now, that we talk about in our mastermind group and our group coaching program, right? That's what Dave and I do for a living. And that's what it's good to be surrounded with other business owners who have been through this, that help you brainstorm these ideas. Matt at profitabilitymd.com, Dave at profitabilitymd.com. We always talk about marketing messages and irresistible offers. Our irresistible offer, we can find any business owner $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 without spending a dollar more on advertising or marketing. That's called our profit acceleration session. My bet is we would talk about more transactions from existing clients, right?
That would be one thing that we would talk about.
One of our 40-point checklists, right? That's a profit acceleration session. Go find $50,000 to $100,000. Give us a call. Email us. Matt at profitabilitymd.com. Dave at profitability.com. That is our irresistible offer, right? This is our podcast. We love doing this. We're trying to help as many business owners as we can because we think we can build the business of your dreams. You deserve it. You should have it. There are just some key fundamentals you got to have, right? We do group coaching. We do profit acceleration sessions. We got our YouTube channel, Profitability MD, and we got our podcast, Profitability MD, and our website, profitabilitymd.com. Dude, this was great. More money now. Who doesn't want that?
And the one last thing I'd say is business is not about getting overwhelmed. See, that's the thing. And that's why we talked about virtual assistants and things like that. Yeah. Both Matt and I have a lot more free time today than we did. Why? Because we let our business take over before. That's the reason why we're here, is so if you're more profitable and have the time to enjoy your life. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. So
build the business you deserve. Absolutely.
Great show, man.
All right, man.